Hello, and thanks for listening to the third Slightly Sidetracked podcast. I'm Luke, an attempted writer, YouTube, and serial killer. Today, I'm joined by the man most famous for his role as the voice of the talking ghost bear in The Revenant, and his role of Groot in the Marvel movie Suicide Squad. He's least known for his role as Detective Lettuce in Strawley Not. It's Jacob!
Hey guys!
Thanks for stopping by. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you, Luke?
Yeah, I'm good. So that's the awkward small talk out of the way.
Pleasantries out of the way now. Let's move on to the good stuff.
Yeah. So today the plan is to talk about superhero comic book movies. We've both watched a ton of them, but you're more of a fan. You've read them and stuff.
I have. I'm a big comic book nerd, me.
Yeah. I mean, you've come in a Flash shirt and a Superman hat. So
oh yeah.
That's the commitment.
Mixing up the Justice League members right there. I'm wearing the Batman briefs as well.
Oh, nice.
Too much information. Never mind.
Right. So yeah, but the only comics I've read really when I was younger was the Beano and a few Simpson comics. So on the lore, a bit lacking.
Well, I'm here to educate.
Yeah. So so I guess I've always been going into the films like blind, whereas you have like source material to compare to. So I guess that makes it a lot different to watch.
It does. Definitely makes it an interesting experience. You're always thinking about, I've read this story before and now I'm watching it on the screen. You're always looking for the little hints to the comic.
Are you like when people who are like big fans of books, do you get more angry when there's slight changes, or do you prefer there's a change?
I think it's a bit different with comics. If they make a change, so long as it works on the big screen, because there's obviously you can't do a straight adaptation because it's not going to look. I mean, look at what was that? Watchmen is done. That's a straight comic book adaptation, and so is Sin City, and I'm not really sure they work as well on the film version as they do in the comic. So long as they make changes that work for the film, I'm down with that.
Because isn't it? Do the comics themselves, do they release repeat stories, or do they reboot a lot?
They reboot a lot.
Yeah.
Too much, in fact.
Like, did they start like? Is it 19 something? They started doing comics. Or?
First comic, I believe, was in the 1930s.
Yeah.
I believe. Don't hold me to that. I say I'm an expert. I'm not that big an expert.
Yeah. We want nothing but facts on the Slightly Sidetracked show.
You're right. It was March the 3rd, 1932. It was Superman, and it was lovely. No.
Great. You heard it here first.
Don't go fact checking that because I know it's right.
Right. Yeah. So yes, you also keep up to date with comic book news. I mean, you know what films are coming out, whereas I haven't got a clue. So yes, that's why I wouldn't do the podcast on this. But I figured I'm the idiot. I'll get an expert in. No pressure.
Oh yeah, none at all. I'm not sweating already.
And for you listening, the podcast is going to be quite spoilery for many superhero movies that have come out recently. We're going to discuss Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, possibly X-Men Apocalypse, but anything that pops up. But we're just going to spoil whatever major plot points because they're more interesting to discuss, I think.
A spoiler alert for later in the podcast. We might spoil TV shows as well.
Yeah, that might be true. So first I figured we'd talk about Batman vs Superman. We watched it back in March, and despite about half of us not being too interested, we saw it at midnight.
We did.
With me needing to go to work at 3 a.m. It's been a while since we've seen the film. I don't know if you've seen it again. There's an old Unlimited, was it?
Ultimate Edition.
Ultimate Edition
which
out now.
I have watched.
Does it improve it?
Yes, slightly. What I will say, Lex Luthor gets you get a better view of Lex Luthor in the Ultimate Edition. He doesn't seem as crazy as he did in the actual edition.
So what scenes do they add for him?
Well, it's a lot of more backstory as to why he's doing certain things, and you can see that whereas in the original cut you can't really see how he's controlling like Batman's way of thinking, how he's controlling what Superman's doing, whereas in the Ultimate Edition you can certainly see him pulling the strings a bit more. Okay. Like with the thing in the start of the film when Superman goes to Nairobi to save Lois, you learn a lot more about his involvement in that.
Oh, okay.
Whereas you don't really get that in the first cut. I mean, they allude to it, but they flat out say it in the Ultimate Edition that he's a lot more involved in that.
Oh, cool. So he is more interesting because I didn't like him in this.
Yeah, he's more interesting. Like he's more of the classic Lex Luthor villain from the comics and from the Superman TV show. He's a lot more from Smallville. He's not a lot better, but he is better in the Ultimate Edition than he is in the original.
Oh, cool.
Still not great, still not perfect, but he's all right.
So how much longer is it? Is it like...
I believe, the original cut was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I believe the Ultimate Edition is 3 hours and 15. So there's an extra half an hour if I'm right.
Does it help with the flow? Because I remember, it might have been because I was anxious to get to work, but I remember being a bit impatient with the film at times.
Yeah, I do think the flow is a little better in the Ultimate Edition again, but at the same time, it's still the basic same film, really. So you're still watching the same thing, just half an hour longer. So, it's just a few added scenes that you didn't see in the original.
Yeah, because I think I heard people saying that, like, if you didn't like the film, you're not gonna... The new edition isn't gonna, like, sway you.
Yeah, it's not gonna change your mind. If you didn't like the original, this isn't suddenly gonna make you say, "Oh my god, it's the greatest superhero film of all time."
Yeah. Well, I think, like, people have been very harsh with it. I mean, I remember thinking it was okay, but, like, not amazing. But I didn't outright hate it.
No. I thought it was very good. However, a friend did say a line to me, which I thought was a very good line, actually. Should a film that has Batman, Superman, and even a bit of Wonder Woman in, should it just be okay? But I thought it was an okay movie. I'm happy with it. You know, I thought the critics were very harsh on it, but I do see where other people are coming from.
Yeah. So I was going to go into the specifics of what points we did actually like from it. Like, for me, Wonder Woman, I don't really know much about her character, but the brief scenes she was in, she seemed interesting. She looked like she was part of a more exciting movie.
Yeah.
Especially her fight scene was pretty good. I remember that as well.
The fight scene with Doomsday, that was very, very good. I very much like the way that's going. I can't wait to see the Wonder Woman solo film. It looks very interesting.
I haven't seen I might have seen a little bit of the trailer. I've seen the golden lasso thingy.
Yeah, the lasso of truth.
Yeah, I was wondering whether they would actually have it, because it's like supposed to be these gritty things, and I was wondering whether is a lasso of truth too ridiculous for them now.
Yeah. Something I have noticed so far with the three films in the DCEU, as they're calling it, they seem to be leaving out a lot of the comic book stuff, which is really frustrating for me. It was promising in Man of Steel. You know, they included Krypton. They've alluded to Kryptonite. And I was thinking, yeah, they're going to include all these comic book stuff, and then they didn't really do it in Batman v Superman. But yeah, in the Wonder Woman trailer, they got the lasso of truth. Hopefully, who knows? We might get the invisible plane as well. You never know.
What else have they cut, which is a little too ridiculous for the films that have come out so far?
Well, there's a lot of stuff. I was hoping they might do a bit of red kryptonite as well. That's an interesting tidbit from the comics. Red kryptonite has a different effect on Superman, makes him evil. I was hoping Lex Luthor might have used some red kryptonite to make him go a bit crazy, and that's why Batman would fight him. But never mind.
So just like a bit of red food dye added into kryptonite, and he's like allergic.
It's another mineral from the planet Krypton.
All right, yeah. I mean, I see why they kept Krypton in, because like that's like the main.
Got to include it, really. But
it's like his only weakness or something, isn't it? But
or magic. But this is a realistic universe, so we don't have magic.
Well, except for Enchantress, but we don't talk
exactly.
about her.
Exactly. This is a gritty reality. We don't have any of those fantastical things. You have a guy who looks like a crocodile. But clearly we don't have those fantastical elements in this universe. You have a guy who can run at super speed, but
It's red kryptonite, because like I've always sort of like ventured onto like Wikipedia or things to find out about like strange comic book things and stuff. And there's the whole alternate world where did Superman fall into another country rather than America or something, and he becomes...
You're thinking of the Flashpoint universe.
Is that what it is? It's one where he's evil.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're thinking of the... I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, there's so many. He has so many universes, it's hard to keep track. But yeah, there is one where he goes evil, and I believe Red Kryptonite was behind that, but I can't remember exactly. No, right. Don't hold me to that. I told you I'm an expert.
But yeah, Wonder Woman, we liked her.
We liked Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was good.
Batman, he was actually quite good, despite like the controversy of when we got the first pictures and we had sad Affleck or whatever it was.
When Ben Affleck was cast, well, what on earth are they thinking? Then I saw that footage last year at last year's Comic-Con. No? Yeah, last year's Comic-Con when they released the first official teaser trailer for it, and I thought, that's it. That is the tone. That's old man Bruce Wayne. That's what I want. And it was perfect.
What put you off Affleck? 'Cause, I mean, I think the only clear film I remember seeing him in is Gone Girl, where I thought he was really good in.
He was very good in Gone Girl. The one that will come to mind for comic book fans out there, he played Daredevil in the Daredevil movie.
Oh, right, that was him.
And he was awful. Just so bad. And that was one of my biggest problems. I thought, when he's wearing the cowl, you're going to see Daredevil, because that's his chin that you saw in Daredevil again. And you're going to see it again when he's wearing the Batman mask. But no, thankfully, he was brilliant as Batman. And Bruce Wayne, actually. I thought he was a very good Bruce Wayne.
I haven't seen the Daredevil film. Was that down to script or acting or...
His acting alongside Jennifer Connelly, I believe it was, who played Elektra. That was terrible. Their chemistry was awful. The villain, actually, Bullseye, he was pretty good. But the film itself was just... It was badly directed, badly written. But the villain was done alright. Well, he wasn't the main villain. I believe Kingpin was the main villain, but Bullseye in it was very good.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, in this one, he's like... Is it like old man Batman? Well, not really old, but...
Well, no, he's not really old, but he has been going, I believe they say it's 20 years.
20 years,
yeah. He's been fighting crime as Batman.
I thought that was quite good. I was like, since it was so close after the Nolan ones,
yeah,
to have to go through him getting used to being Batman again.
Yeah, it was nice to see someone he's done it, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the t-shirt, and he's still going, ready to take down Superman.
Yeah, that was good. Was he on a break before Superman came on? Had he retired or something?
From what they were saying, I believe so. And it was, I don't think they say explicitly, but I think he had stopped for a few years, and then Superman was on the picture, and he's like, right, I've got to do it again now.
Yeah. Now it seems that after this film, he's become the leader of Justice League.
Yeah,
although apparently that's like angered people, because like he would never be the one to start it or something.
It is very different from the comic. Like he joins the Justice League kind of in the comics. It's kind of he joins it to keep an eye on it, to make sure all these superpowered people don't go out of control with this new team. Whereas obviously in these films he's now going to be the one putting it all together. But I think, to be fair, he's kind of the father figure of the Justice League in the comics as well. So it's nice that he's going to kind of be the one who brings it all together.
Yeah, he plays baseball with them and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
yeah. Takes them out for their first skates. Takes them for their first drink as well. Actually, that scene with Barry and Bruce in the trailer, he may take him for his first drink, judging by that. But they seem like they're going to have a very father-son style relationship, which could be quite good.
Compared to Tony and Spider-Man.
Ooh, now you're getting into dangerous territory comparing them. No, very similar to that from Civil War, yeah. Like, he's going to be the one. He's going to help him improve his suit. We already know that Bruce is going to create Barry's suit for Justice League, so I think they're going to share a very father-son style relationship. Yeah,
so you do think Batman is going to take a similar role as, what's her name? Suicide Squad's leader.
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, is he going to be as strict as, well, maybe not as extreme, but yeah, if he joined in the comics just to keep an eye on them, would he be holding a tight leash on these guys?
I think he'll definitely, well, in the comics, one of the big things, and it becomes important in one of the stories, I can't remember which story now, but one of the big things is Batman has a secret vault where he keeps the weaknesses of every single member of the Justice League. He has detailed files on all of them, and he has all their weaknesses. And that gets stolen, and then there's a big thing. The Justice League has to try and stop who stole it. I believe it was Lex Luthor who stole it, and they have to try and stop him. So I hope they show that in the Justice League film, that he's got these detailed files on all the characters.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we saw it in Batman vs Superman. He's got files. Well, he got sent files.
Well, yeah, he's got the little clips, hasn't he? On he's got one where you can see Barry stopping that robbery, breaking all the lights as he does it, and then there's the one. Yeah, we've got Wonder Woman's photo. Aquaman,
Khal Drogo of the sea.
Yeah, Khal Drogo being the Superman of the sea, just moving his arm and all of a sudden he can fly out of the water. Not really sure how that works, but never mind. And then, Cyborg, who's the one I'm most looking forward to. Cyborg. I'm looking forward to finally seeing a live-action Cyborg.
Is he a lesser-known one? Because I mean, I hadn't.
he's surprisingly unknown, considering he is one of the founding members of the Justice League in the comics. He's very much unknown, but yeah, he's an interesting character. Oh god, Silas Stone is his dad. I can't remember what the actual character's name is. The guy who is Cyborg, but the scientist that we see in Batman v Superman, that's his dad, Silas, and he works at Star Labs, which is another very important place in the DC universe. They make all the tech.
So they've got loads of little hints to a bigger universe.
Yes, they're definitely the hints there. And so I'm looking forward to Justice League to see where they go with it. From what I've seen, from the little teaser they released for Justice League, they're getting the tone at last. They're finally figuring out their tone, I think.
Did they though? Because trailers can be very, very deceiving.
Yes, they can. I definitely agree with you there. But the tone that the trailer has set is a good tone. Whether that translates to the film, we'll have to wait and see. But the tone in the trailer is very good.
Is that next year or is it a couple of years away?
2017, so yeah, next year.
Oh, nice.
That's part 1 anyway. They're not calling it part 1 anymore. It's just called Justice League, but that's part
Justice
1,
League.
and then there's going to be a part 2.
Justice League 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. It's Justice League 2. Oh look, there's Superman. He's not dead yet. That's the name of part 2.
Yeah. Okay, so bringing it back to Batman vs Superman, we keep going away with it. It's probably
Let's leave
because
that film.
yeah,
It's not very good. Let's just leave it.
yeah. But I was gonna go back to sort of go about the things we didn't like,
There's
because
plenty of that.
yeah, because I trying to say, I mean, I thought it was okay. Some of the action sequences were enjoyable. Some things, like I said, with Batman and Wonder Woman and stuff like that, it was interesting
It's
to watch.
good stuff.
But
There's certainly some
so
drawbacks.
much, yeah, so much. I remember just being quite bored throughout it all. There were scenes where so much of it seemed unnecessary and just dragged things out, like things that were obvious that we didn't really need to see. Everything with Superman. I mean, I haven't seen Man of Steel, so I don't. Maybe if I was more attached, if I'd seen that, maybe I'd know more about him and I'd find him more interesting. But he was really dull for me.
Superman scenes in Batman v Superman. I can sum up Superman from Batman v Superman in one word. 2 words. Ultra moody. He is ultra moody throughout that entire film. This is a guy who's just wiped out the last of his race in the previous film, but has been seen as this hero. People are looking at him and he's this symbol of hope.
Who built the statue? Was it?
That's a good question. I don't think they ever say that, so I'm assuming it was the government maybe just said, yeah, let's build that statue because he saved the world. I don't know, but I mean, they clearly love him. He's clearly beloved and they're clearly letting him operate, so I don't get why he's so moody. And he's got the girl of his dreams there, in the bathtub in the early scenes.
He's got Morpheus on his back at the news place.
Exactly, yeah. There was that clever little joke at the end of Man of Steel. Hey Clark, welcome to the planet.
Oh no!
I know,
Oh,
that was a terrible joke. I didn't laugh when I saw it in the film. I'm not going to laugh now either. But yeah, he's got all this good stuff around him and he's just miserable as hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did say he killed the last of his race.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, I don't really want to... For a superhero movie, gritty and miserable isn't what I'm going there for.
No. Especially not for Superman. I mean, Superman's the truth, justice, and the American way.
A beacon of hope.
Beacon of hope and a shining light, and he's just miserable.
Yeah.
Not happy about anything.
No. And he starts the film sort of like just like killing people in like a...
In Africa, in
Something like
Nairobi. Just goes and kills that warlord who's going to kill Lois.
Like, do you think they had a plan for for this movie before like the people started criticizing Man of Steel? Like, what do you think the plot? Because I'm pretty sure they were influenced quite a bit by the backlash of the whole he destroyed cities.
Definitely.
And things.
Zack Snyder has tried to palm destroying the city off as the reason for Batman going after him. That's not the reason at all. People backlashed about Man of Steel and the end of Man of Steel, and so he said, oh my god, let's throw Batman in it, let's throw loads of Justice League characters in it, let's start building our universe. I personally believe this was going to be a Man of Steel sequel. I don't think it was going to be Batman v Superman. Then they decided, oh my god, people don't like our stuff, let's throw loads of characters they know into it and try and make it stick.
Oh, yeah. But they've kept him on. I mean, all I've heard... I mean, I don't know too much about him or anything, but all I've heard about him is that people seem to hate what he's doing with it. I've heard that he thinks that comic books aren't that interesting, and like he thinks they need to be fighting and killing each other to make it exciting.
Yeah.
But he's still involved quite a bit.
He is not a comic book guy. The only thing DC have going for them right now is one guy by the name of Jeff Johns. He is DC through and through. He's written a lot of comics for them, and he's their head of entertainment now. And just to quickly switch over to the TV shows, he's the head of all of that. He operated all of that and got that off the ground and got that going, and that is beloved. The DC TV universe is beloved. So if he can get on board in the movies and start making the decisions.
So what's the most recent, the most like early upcoming film that he's going to be involved in?
Well, he's working on Justice League. He's behind that. He's starting to make some decisions with Justice League. Although I think that's a bit too far down the line for him to have too much of an impact. So I suppose the first one will be, I know Wonder Woman's coming first. He's not having much of a say in that. Justice League he's having a little bit of a say in, but he was hired a bit late to have too much of a say. So the first one he'll be involved with is the first in 2018, which I believe is the Aquaman movie. That'll be the one that he has the first real proper say in.
Okay.
But yeah,
no more Zack Snyder.
He is DC through and through. So if he's the one making the... Everyone kept saying, oh yeah, Zack Snyder's the Joss Whedon of the DC films. Let's hope then that Jeff Johns is going to become the Kevin Feige of the DC films, and he's going to be the one actually making all the proper decisions, because then he can get it working and we can finally get the DC universe that we deserve.
Oh, that's a Gotham thing, isn't it?
He's not the producer we need right now. But he's the one that we want. No, hold on, I got that wrong, didn't I?
It's not the one we deserve.
But he's the one we need right now.
Oh dear. Okay, other things I didn't understand about Batman vs Superman: dream sequences and future predictions.
Now, where do I go with this?
Do you understand?
This confused me as well, and I know the Flash's powers, so this confused me as well. For those of you who don't know the Flash, he's my favourite comic book character, by the way. For those of you who don't know the Flash, he has super speed, and his super speed allows him to travel at such a speed that he can break a hole in the space-time barrier and travel forwards and backwards in time. In Batman v Superman, we see a glimpse of Barry from the future running back and warning Bruce that Lois is the key, that he has to keep an eye on Superman. But then Batman wakes up. The Flash does not have the power to enter people's dreams. This isn't Inception, so I don't know what the hell is going on in that sequence. And as for the future stuff, you see the mark of Apocalypse in the ground. That's the Omega symbol. That's Darkseid's symbol. And so Darkseid's obviously running around somewhere. Is Superman working for him? Because Superman's gone all evil. And the parademons, they're the weird bat things that you saw attacking some of the officers and attacking Batman in that dream sequence. They work for Darkseid as well. They weren't attacking Superman, so clearly does he work for Darkseid in the future? That scene just confused the hell out of me.
Do we have a confirmation whether that is just like a random dream that didn't really mean anything? It was just like saying, oh, Batman thinks Superman's evil. Here, let's just show it some more in a dream sequence. Or is it we're actually saying it was a future prediction?
I don't know if there's been official confirmation. All I know is they're dubbing it the Nightmare. Night spelled with a K because he's the Dark Knight. So they're dubbing it the Nightmare. Whether that means it's a future that is definitely going to happen, or whether it's a potential future, or whether it's just him dreaming about the worst that could happen if Superman is allowed to continue, I don't know. I don't think there's been any official confirmation.
But that's why you think the red kryptonite is going to be
that's why I think,
aspect.
Yeah, I think they could introduce that, and that could be a way to make Superman super evil and go working for Darkseid.
I mean, he's pretty much the villain already, Superman.
He is the villain of this film, definitely. When they announced the official title was going to be Batman versus Superman rather than Superman versus Batman, I said, well, does that mean they're going to make Superman the villain? And then that's what they did. They made Superman the villain, so who knows?
The misunderstood villain.
Oh, yeah, the I'm actually the hero. You've just all got the wrong end of the stick because of the actual villain who's pulling the strings over there.
Yeah, the opposite. That was going to go on. We've talked about Lex Luthor a little. You say he improves with the extended edition.
Improves in the loosest sense of the term. The more I think about it now.
But the main thing I didn't like about sort of the film overall and him was the whole just the trope that's done so many times, which is I'm the respected member of community, but actually I'm the villain.
Clearly the bad guy.
We all know this. The viewer knows this. It's just dragged out because it felt like a really long movie. Because I was saying about all the unnecessary scenes.
Yeah.
Just establishing him as this pretending to be good guy, but he's actually bad. It just went on for too long. When we knew it. We didn't need him to be.
We know he's a villain. We know he's the bad guy. Anyone who knows if anyone knows anything about DC at all, they know Lex Luthor is a bad guy. So we didn't need this whole, actually, I'm a good guy. I just want to stop this guy who could possibly turn evil. So I want this kryptonite stuff. No, you don't. You wanted to kill him. We know you do because you're the bad guy.
I mean, I guess I know he does need to fool other people in this thing, but I don't know. I felt like we focused too much on that.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing I didn't like was anyone who has seen any of Jesse Eisenberg's previous work, he basically just played Mark Zuckerberg again. Just as he did in The Social Network. He basically just played Mark Zuckerberg again, except he's in a DC film.
I mean, I haven't seen too many of the films, but I think he can be a good actor.
Oh, he's a very good actor.
I think he's just not got much to work with on this.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. I should say, I liked The Social Network. He's very good in it. I'm just saying, he plays the same character again, just evil, rather than, anyone who knows the story of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg kind of
screws people over.
Yeah, he kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Borrows the idea from his friend and uses it as his own, and that's kind of what he was playing here. Or it's not really, but he's so Mark Zuckerberg has an evil side to him, if you will, a dark side to him, but he is a good man at heart. Yeah. And I think that's what he was trying to do with Lex Luthor. He was like, I have good intentions, even though I'm doing bad things to do it. No, you don't have good intentions. You're the villain. Just be the villain. Just be bad.
His motive was gods can't let them be here, but the devil, blah blah blah.
But the devil will do it. If man won't kill God, then the devil will do it. That's stupid line.
And then we just suddenly bring back an old villain, but turn him into
some what's supposed to be one of the most iconic Superman villains of all time, but actually was just the Lord of the Rings cave troll.
That's the thing they seem to do at the moment, like with Suicide Squad as well. Just get villains that could be interesting, but they're sort of just rushed in and just disposed of. But yeah,
Lex Luthor, not very good in the original cut. A little better in the Ultimate Edition, but still not the Lex Luthor we deserve.
But I think the main reason I didn't enjoy the film very much, it was okay. I mean, I'm not going to watch it again, but it isn't like I was watching a terrible movie. But it's the really overdone. I mean, I've said this before just a second ago, but the storyline where it's two people, like they're both supposed to be guys you root for, or characters you root for, and we have them do the fake battling it out. And then something makes them put aside their differences to fight the bigger threat.
Oh dear,
so many films have done that, and it just gets really tiring, just seeing that done over and over again. So it made the film entirely predictable.
Yeah, that concept has definitely been played out, and of course, with this film in particular, the reason they end up coming together is the big one. That's the big point that people go to. The reason they end up liking each other. Oh yeah, our mums have the same name. Let's suddenly be friends all of a sudden. Superman still destroyed Metropolis in Man of Steel. The fact that his mum's called Martha doesn't change that. Batman still hates him for destroying Metropolis. That doesn't change that fact.
I think what I thought they were trying to do was him saying someone's name made Batman realise that he does care for someone at least. But it didn't come across. No. They didn't
fully put that across, what that was supposed to signify, whatever symbol that was supposed to act as, Martha. They didn't fully explain it. There is actually a scene in Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition. There's a couple of scenes where they go more in depth into the Clark-Martha relationship, and also they show a bit more of Bruce's relationship with his mum. And so it kind of makes the Martha connection a bit stronger. But not an awful lot.
Oh, right.
Doesn't make it any better. It's still a stupid reason for them to stop fighting, but it does add a little bit more weight to it.
Maybe with all the fuss about Martha, she'll get her own movie.
Maybe the Martha solo film.
Yeah.
The Martha Kent solo film.
What would she get up to? What would be the storyline for a Martha movie?
Well, we laugh, but apparently Sony were planning an Aunt May standalone film. So it's all well and good laughing, but this has been planned before. So
has Aunt May has she ever done anything exciting in the comics on her own? No.
In fact, to be honest, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, when she becomes a nurse, that's probably the most exciting thing she does in the comics as well, is become a nurse. Maybe they could show her passing her nurse degree or something, I don't know.
Maybe she inherits a lot of money and she wants to avenge the death of Uncle Ben. And she becomes a night vigilante.
Known as Night Nurse.
Yeah.
Just wears her nurse uniform, just puts the mask over her face, and just goes around killing people who killed
a really
Uncle
gruff
Ben.
voice. Yeah.
You killed Uncle Ben!
She was always scared of nurses, so that's why she's becoming her fear.
That sounds like a brilliant comic book. Maybe I should write that. Nurse woman or Night Nurse, yeah. Actually, I can't use Night Nurse. There's another character called Night Nurse.
What's Night Nurse?
Night Nurse. She's in Marvel as well. She actually, we've seen her. She's in Daredevil. The nurse from Daredevil.
Oh, she
is a comic book character called
that's
Night
why
Nurse.
she's able to cross over to every single show.
Yeah, that's why she's in all the rest of them, looking after them all. Because her role is it's a street level. For the street level heroes, she acts as their person that they go to get bandaged up and everything.
Yeah,
that's something I've always found interesting in was watching these big superhero films. Like, if you break your arm or something, like you can't just heal that on your own. You're going to need some assistance. Who do you go to? And in the comics, they do actually have a person that they go to. At least the street level heroes do.
So she just knows every superhero.
In the shows, she does know all their identities, doesn't she? I don't think she does in the comics. I don't think she knows their identities. She just knows the heroes.
They just come in a mask.
Yeah, they just come in with a mask like, patch me up. I've just been in a fight with the Punisher. Patch me up. And she's like, oh yeah, go on in. Tell me about your day. I'm an avocado at law. Oh, you're a lawyer. Hang on, and you wear a mask with no eyes in it. Are you Matt Murdock? No, I'm not Matt Murdock. Definitely not. Who is that guy?
Oh dear. I mean, like, I've done like voices for like characters where they got gruff voices. After like half hour of doing like these lines, my throat is really sore. I can't imagine. I mean, no, some of them have got like the voice modifier.
Yeah.
But surely the poor ones
who have to do their own voice, like Christian Bale, he must have had a sore throat for months after those Batman films. Where's the trigger?
I remember someone pointing out with the least successful one of the trilogy, the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
With like there was moments where he's alone and he still did the voice.
Still did the Batman voice, yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, back to Batman v Superman.
Yeah, I really don't like it, so we just keep running away from it.
It wasn't this bad, folks. Honestly, it was a decent film.
But the last thing I was going to point out, one of the last second problems with it. I mean, I had to flee because I was worried wouldn't be able to get home in time. But Superman, they kill him off. They do the old Death of Superman storyline. That's pulled straight from the comics, by the way. When Doomsday first appears, he kills Superman in the comics as well. He doesn't actually die himself in the comics, so them killing him although that wasn't Doomsday, so I don't know why I'm saying this, because that definitely wasn't Doomsday in that film. That was the devil, of course.
That was a weird CGI cave troll who we'll never speak of again from the Lord of the Rings films. But, they can say it's Doomsday all they want, but it wasn't. But yeah, the cliche, let's kill our superhero, even though we know he's in the next one because we've already signed him up to a contract to be in Justice League.
I mean, even if that wasn't the case, they end it with the dirt rising from his grave.
Exactly, yeah. The old Jesus metaphor right there.
So, what do you think? What's going to be the reason? How does he resurrect himself, Jesus style?
Well, obviously I can't confirm how they're going to do it in the film. They may do it differently, but the big thing... They did actually... There's a point in the film where they kind of show this as well. When he gets nuked, when he's trying to kill Doomsday and they send the nuke after him and it blows him up, and he's kind of just floating there. The reason that doesn't kill him is because he's in direct contact with Earth's sun, so that rejuvenates his cells, and that's what regrows him, and he's able to then fly back to Earth.
But
and
it
start
just
fighting
takes
again.
a little while.
Yeah, it just takes a little while. So obviously now that he's dead, well, when he gets stabbed, obviously he's kind of passed out. He's not actually dead, and they're thinking that Earth's sun will still affect him, even though he's in the coffin. It should still affect him, and that's what will make him come back out of the ashes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one thing I've just thought of now. Surely he can't have a secret identity, because I guess maybe you can excuse it because he's like always flying around and you don't get a close enough look at him. But when he's like dead on the ground, probably had a post-mortem, surely they'll be able to then, next time he goes to try to go to work as Clark Kent, who's been missing
For months. Surely Clark Kent can't just come back from the dead.
And go, oh yeah, I was just on a Sunday vacation.
I just decided to go with this bar skank for a few months.
And then they'll go, we've seen close-up photos of dead Superman, because there probably would be in photos like that.
You would imagine so. Unless Batman covered it up, you would imagine there would be photos of Superman out there somewhere. I mean, Bruce has a lot of pull, as we find out in Suicide Squad. He does have a lot of pull, but you'd imagine he wouldn't be able to cover something like that up.
Yeah. Well, that's enough of Batman vs Superman. Sick of it. Done.
Move on.
Never
Move
again.
on.
Forget.
But you should still watch it, at least once. Give it a go. Yeah. You might think differently.
Would I have enjoyed it more if I'd seen Man of Steel? Or would I have hated it? Would I have been more angry going in?
That's a very good question. I think you would have understood Batman's motivation a little more, because I don't think they showed enough of that. I mean, they showed that little clip right at the start where he's watching the end of Man of Steel happen. But I think if you watch Man of Steel, you just... because you don't really get the scale from that little scene of how much destruction was caused. Whereas I think if you watch Man of Steel, you get that. So you understand his motivation behind going after Superman a bit more. But does it add a lot more to it? Not really. I mean, you'd have got more attached to the Superman characters as well, probably, if you'd have watched Man of Steel. But
Oh yeah.
whether it would have heightened the experience of Batman v Superman, I'm not so sure. But
Yeah. Right. Well, Suicide Squad. That's what I'll move on. I enjoyed this a lot more,
Oh,
despite
yeah,
it being, well, how I describe it, and probably loads of other people, an entertaining mess.
that is
So
definitely...
much is wrong with it, so much. But there's
But it kinda
little bits,
works.
little glimpses of good things, like so much potential, which I think angers a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's an enjoyable film. If I
definitely,
had to
definitely.
sit through it again, I wouldn't mind. Whereas Batman vs Superman, I probably wouldn't want to.
No, I do think Suicide Squad's a good film. Yeah,
You've
it
seen it
definitely
twice
has its
now.
flaws. Yeah, I've seen it twice, and it definitely has its flaws. Definitely, I would, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. But I must admit, the second time watching it, I still thought, yeah, I could sit and watch this again. Definitely. Well, I did sit and watch it again, but I thought the second time as well. Because, like, you know what? If someone wanted to see it again, I would come for a third time.
Cool. Yeah, so what did you enjoy about it? Like, any specific things that you thought worked really well?
Well, there's two characters, obviously. They're the two everyone knows about because they're in all the posters, they're in all the trailers. The two characters who are brilliant in this film. Will Smith's Deadshot and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. They are brilliant in this film.
I've heard people say that they also think the one in charge is also pretty great in this.
Rick Flag or Amanda Waller.
Amanda
Waller, yeah. Amanda Waller's very good, although she's not in it as much as I thought she would be.
No.
She
But
has
she
kind of
does
a
seem
limited role.
ruthless. I do like. She seems like quite an interesting character to work out why she's just so. Like she seems like evil, but trying to do it for the right reasons, sort
Yeah.
of thing. But,
She's a very, very, like, in the comics, all of the heroes are very much against Amanda Waller. They do not like her. They do not like the Suicide Squad either. They don't like that idea, and they are very much against her because she's doing good. What she is doing is the right thing, but obviously the way she goes about it is not exactly...
Yeah.
For example, just to go back to the TV shows again, they have their own version of Amanda Waller in Arrow, which is part of the DC
how does she
universe.
compare to the movie version?
I personally think the Arrow one's better, but we've spent much more time with the Arrow one, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But for example, in the Arrow, there's a terrorist attack at the end of the second season, and Amanda Waller's going to send a nuke in to end it. She'll kill everyone in the city, but she's going to end this terrorist attack, which could spread.
So end a terrorist attack with a terrorist
with
attack.
the terrorist attack. Yeah,
Okay.
that is her motto. But that's the character she is, and you see it in Suicide Squad. Those people weren't briefed on the situation, so she kills them all,
Yeah.
so they can't go and spread that information to everyone.
Yeah.
So what she is doing is good, but she's going about it the wrong way,
Although,
and that is Amanda Waller.
She hasn't really had the chance to do good because it's her own mess that we're clearing up in this movie.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But yeah, I did think she was quite a good part of it. But yes, the main focus is of course Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
And Harley Quinn, yeah.
They got the most screen time, and I think that helped them the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I enjoyed Deadshot had a really good backstory. I liked the whole he couldn't take out Batman because his daughter. Obviously,
like,
daughter probably idolizes sort of the hero of the city sort of thing.
The Bat, as they call him. Don't actually think they called him Batman once in this film, did they? They kept calling him the Bat. The Bat got her too. But yeah,
he was in it a lot more than I thought he would be.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like a little cameo, and I thought it would only be with the Harley Quinn stuff. But no, he was in it a bit more than I thought.
Yeah,
bit longer than a certain other Justice League member who was in it as well.
Yeah.
Literally a flashy cameo right there. But yeah, no, I also liked I liked Captain Boomerang. I thought he was pretty good. Digger Harkness.
Yeah, I think he was probably the third one
Yeah.
to get out of the villains. But we had, is it El
Diablo? Yeah.
El Diablo. He
The
started
fire
off
guy.
so promising. Like, I thought, oh cool, this villain who's tried to turn his ways, how's he going to
actually
handle
trying to be
being
good,
forced to
isn't
do evil? But it was sort of just, oh, okay, I'll burn people then.
Yeah.
And stuff.
You've wound me up too much.
He just
I'm
had a
gonna
bit
go
of
kill people now.
a bit of an argument with Will Smith, and he'll go, okay, I'll do it then. I'll show you what I can do.
Not gonna lie, I might burn people after an argument with Will Smith, but you know.
But yeah, and then it became, I mean, his backstory, yeah, you can sort of see, oh, he's killed his family, that's why he's done it, but it was a bit cliched.
It was very cliche backstory, really.
And the whole, oh, I'm gonna nobly sacrifice myself because of this.
Yeah.
And the main thing was when he just, I mean, so many of lines were cliche. I can't remember too many of them on top of my head because it's been a little while. But the main one was sort of like how they're his family now. This is my new family.
This is my new
We've known
family,
these
yeah.
people.
Like a day.
They didn't meet each other before. They were interviewed separately for this squad. They just met very briefly once the threat had happened. They were all dragged there, Boomerang in a bag. One guy, for the first time, screen time at all,
Gets out of the car.
Slipknot or something,
Slipknot, yeah.
is appeared. They all just form together. They have a brief helicopter ride, stroll through the city, shooting a few people, barely any conversation.
Then they climb up that tall building, still barely any conversation.
And now they're best friends, family.
It's because of that
So
bar
close.
scene, isn't it? They all had a drink together. That's why they're family.
The
now,
exposition bar scene.
as they all now be known.
But yeah, they ruined him, and then he's gone. That's it.
gone.
He's
That's
out of it.
Never going to be seen again now. Which is a shame because, like you said, such a promising character right at the start. You're like, yes, finally they're doing one of these. Whereas everyone else, as we made a lot of jokes about, everyone else was going, "Oh, we're the bad guys. That's what we do." He wasn't saying that. He was like, "No, that's not me. No, I don't do that anymore."
He was like starting off. He was distancing himself from everyone. He'd keep out of the way of the fights. He'd be like, how did he bond with them? But
oh well. Pretty cool visual though when he turned into the big devil guy.
That was
a pretty cool visual.
But well, at least he was more interesting than the crocodile guy. You couldn't even understand him half the time, and he just sat there. I don't think did he speak really, except like one-off lines where, "Oh, I'm also a crocodile."
Beautiful.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. And of course, when they were going for the final battle, and he was like, "I'm going in the water," and that was pretty much his two lines.
Yeah, it was sort of a friend did a review of this film, and he sort of pointed out how they just needed a reason for him to do something.
So they flooded the subway.
Yeah.
And also, they, all leading up to the film, they never announced that the character of Slipknot was going to be in the film until like the final week. They said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Slipknot's going to be in the film." Yeah. He's clearly put in it just to show off that the bombs are real. That's the only reason he's there. Yeah. He's not a huge character in the comics. I'm not going to lie and say he is. He's a minor character in the comics as well. But just to put you could have literally put any random criminal there. You don't have to name him because now that character can never be used again. You can never have another Slipknot now, and they've killed him off. Like you can now never have another El Diablo either. He's been used and killed off. So just seems a bit pointless.
Yeah,
Introducing a character to then just kill him.
That was the thing. It was like so many characters rushed in, hardly even any screen time, and then killed off, or we have no investment with them. And sort of, I think that was probably one of the main problems with it.
Yeah.
Characters that they could have been really good, but we don't care about them at all.
Yeah, and we don't know enough about them either. It's a bit of a waste. Speaking of waste, one of my biggest problems with it was all the trailers, all the posters. They're not just promoting 2 characters, I lied earlier. They're promoting 3 characters. Another character who you thought was going to be a huge part of this film, and he's in it for 10 minutes. The Joker. You think he's going to be a massive part of this film. Don't get me wrong, very, very good, I thought. I thought Jared Leto was very good as the Joker, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But he's barely in it. His story is on the side. He's just trying to get Harley Quinn out of there. That's it. That's all he's there to do. And it's just, I was a bit disappointed in that. I thought he was going to have a really big role, and instead he's just a side character, really.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was glad that he was not a main part, because he's been the main villain of like Batman films just always. And when I did hear that, I remember hearing sort of rumours at least before the film came out that he was just going to be in flashbacks and things. It turned out he wasn't, because he was trying to help her at the thing.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I was glad I wanted him to just be a flashback thing, just sort of with her like barely in it at all, and then come back as maybe a main thing in another movie.
Yeah.
But they included him in enough to be noticeable.
Yeah.
But he has no impact on the plot at all.
Not at all, no.
Like, at least make it that his escape attempt for Harley perhaps ruins their plans.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing, but it wasn't. It was just they'd solved one problem and they were just planning. They were just sitting around planning to leave. Then he pops up, fails to rescue her, and then they carry on with the threat.
The next problem as well, yeah.
So it didn't influence at all. He could have been wiped from this completely.
Exactly, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I agree with you. I think the fact that he is only a side character is good. The thing that really frustrated me though was all the promotion for it. His face was everywhere, and then he's in it for 10 minutes. Why do that? That's just pointless.
I remember you loving the laugh.
Oh yeah, the laugh in the original trailer. Yeah. I don't do it very well, but yeah.
But yeah,
it was a very good laugh.
He was quite a good, interesting take, but he did seem a bit more just a common gangster. I mean, maybe the deleted scenes will show more of him being like mad and sort of cunning and sort of things like that.
Supposedly, there's half an hour of Joker scenes that were cut. So,
do you think there'll be an extended edition of this with that added in, or do you think it'll just?
I don't know whether they'll do an extended edition, but I'm hoping they'll still release those deleted scenes so you can see them.
Yeah.
Like even if they don't put them in the film where they were supposed to be, they just release them randomly. It would be nice to see them, just to see some more of him. And of course, as you said earlier, I keep up to date on all this news. If rumours are to be believed, this might be the last we see of the Joker as well.
Oh, is he going to quit?
Yeah, Jared Leto is not very happy about the fact he only had 10 minutes in the final cut.
Oh.
So,
how's it going to affect? Like, was there any movies planned to have him a focus, or at least Harley a focus?
The Batman solo film, Harley and the Joker were supposed to be the main villains of that, so it could be.
Oh, good. I was sort of hoping that they'd have a movie to try and redeem the whole. Because one of the things that I know people aren't too keen, and me a little, was the whole abusive relationship thing. Because I know that's a key part of their thing.
Yeah.
But they seem to be focusing in a positive light.
Yeah, exactly. They really.
Whereas, like, it's fine to show an abusive relationship, but at least have the film highlight how bad it is. They seem to romanticize it a bit.
Yeah. And Harley seems to almost be happy about it happening rather than it being a negative, which it should have been. Yeah.
But so I was sort of hoping perhaps the film, I guess, with that Batman solo one, we could see perhaps Harley. I mean, has she ever escaped that?
There have been times because she, in the comics, she has been a member of the Justice League of the Suicide Squad without the Joker. So there are times when she's separate from him. Yeah, and she definitely. I can't recall any time where, I don't know how you'd phrase it, but gets revenge, if you will, for this abusive relationship. But that's definitely something they can
maybe not revenge, but at least breaks free from his clutches and sort of perhaps tries to regain. Maybe she's still mad, but at least she's not obsessed with
The
this
Joker,
abusive guy. It would have been quite interesting to see, sort of explore that. Maybe it'd be an undone story from the comics.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, because I would like to see more of Harley. I thought she was quite fun. I mean,
She was a very good character.
yeah,
I really enjoyed Harley.
her and Deadshot. But
Going back to that comparison with the TV shows, like I do with Amanda Waller, Arrow have their own Deadshot as well, or had their own Deadshot, and I thought Will Smith was much better.
oh yeah,
Don't get me wrong, the Arrow guy's good, but I thought Will Smith's Deadshot was brilliant. That is Deadshot as I know him from the comics.
how do they differ? Like what?
Well, the inspiration behind why they do what they do, I thought they portrayed in Suicide Squad really well. That he does it for his daughter, is to get money for his daughter. He's not doing it because he's a bad guy. He's doing it because he wants to pay for her future.
Wait. He's not the bad guy.
No, he says he is, but he's lying. But yeah, in the comics, he's not inherently a bad guy.
He's like an anti-hero kind, or like anti-villain.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call it really. I mean, he is. He doesn't mind killing people. He has no qualms about doing that. Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't do it. But he's not doing it because he's an arsehole or because he's a bad guy. He's doing it to get money for his daughter.
I wish they displayed his skills a bit more. All we had really was in one of the montagey backstory things.
Was when he killed that guy with the cool trick shot.
Yeah, I wanted more of that. Less just generic, everyone shooting at like unknown bad guy things.
And he doesn't miss a single shot.
That brings it. The main problem. One of the main problems with the film, I thought, was that we didn't really get to see them show off their villainous. They're just lobbed in, and all they can really do is just shoot at things, and then the villain's sort of a bit too powerful and fuller to handle.
They can't really use their powers to stop it.
I wanted to just use it, and like, I wanted this film to be not as a like. I think Enchantress was probably too big of a.
Yeah,
I mean, I know she's not. You said that you haven't really read much of like her being a main.
I've never really read much about Enchantress, no, and all I know is she's a witch. That's really all I know. That's all the film really tells you.
Yeah, but she seems really powerful, and I thought that would be a good later villain.
Yeah, once they've been together.
I think I've seen some other people discuss this point as well, or maybe having them a more grounded sort of common, maybe not like a generic monster or anything, but some lesser sort of powerful villain that they could out villain.
Yeah,
sort of like they thought the villain was messed up, but they're just coming and they're just going to do more twisted things to get to him. Like he thinks like, oh, a hero would never do this to get to me and stop me, but these guys will, and they'll just blast their way through, kill people. What like Batman and Superman aren't supposed to do, but did repeatedly, they can do. Just show off how evil they actually are. Because at the moment they were stuck between making them, oh, we're actually good. People think we're bad, and we're supposed to be actually bad. I mean, all they do is a bit of petty thievery at some point.
Petty robbery, and she's just like, we're the bad guys. This is what we do. That great line that's repeated many times by all the characters.
I mean, I'm guessing. What are they like in the? Is it Arrow? You said they're in
Arrow. Yeah.
Do they at least do evil things in that, or is it similar to the film?
They're definitely in the Arrow version. They're definitely bad guys. They keep saying, you know, if we didn't have this, like for example, one of the main guys' brothers gets killed by the Deadshot in Arrow, and but this main guy, well, he's called John Diggle. And he goes when the Suicide Squad in Arrow go on their first mission. He goes with them, and Deadshot keeps saying to him, "If I didn't have this bomb in my neck, I would shoot you right now and run away." So they're clearly bad guys, and they put that across. But because of the chip in their neck, they can't actually do bad stuff per se. But the person they're trying to capture, they have no problem killing people around, and Amanda Waller lets them do it, killing people around him to get to him. So they're definitely still the bad guys, and that's what they do. As Harley would say.
So, talking about Suicide Squad, the villain, I mean, her entrance, I mean, like, she sounded really interesting, and I was, because they didn't really allude in the trailers that she was going to be the bad guy.
No.
I was quite interested in seeing how she was going to work with the team. It seemed like really cool. I liked the whole, she's possessing someone and we keep switching back.
Say the name and you switch.
Although her possessed version, a non-possessed person, she didn't really get much to do.
No, I mean she was only in it for a few minutes, wasn't she?
And the whole, was it is she dead? No, she's fine.
She rips off that weird mask. She's like, still alive.
But yeah, but I remember the film gets sort of started kind of abruptly because I'm pretty sure like there was a scene with Flag, the army
Rick
guy,
Flag, yeah.
talking to her, and she's talking to Amanda, talking to Amanda, and she makes an offhand comment of like, you don't want to know what I had to do to get her or something like that, and then it cut to a scene with him in bed with the non-possessed version, yeah. And I thought perhaps this was a flashbacky sort of thing. It's maybe going into more, but no, this was actually just carrying on. Still, this was the moment where she makes her escape plan, and I got so confused. I suddenly thought, we're started. She's escaped. She suddenly realises after all this time, oh wait, my brother's in the bottom.
My brother's over there, I'll go let him out. Yeah, it definitely seems like there's been some scene cutting there. It definitely seems like there was stuff that was supposed to be there's now not there. I
thought there'd be more to her sort of breaking her way. I thought it'd be more manipulative and perhaps tricking her way out of this captivity.
Or just using her powers and getting away with it or something.
And just how useless it turned out having her heart was. Where she's like thumping it
like,
nothing's happened.
Give me your power so that I can keep living even though she's killing my heart. Oh yeah, there you go then.
And her brother, they didn't really need the brother really. No. She seemed power enough on her own and sort of just...
Exactly.
I guess they just wanted a reason for why she could get out without the heart. But...
Yeah, and they needed a reason how she could survive without the heart, and they needed a reason to kill Diablo later in the film. Yeah. So they created the brother character.
But I don't understand what the plan was. Wouldn't she want to get back to like her temple, or perhaps she's from an alternate world? That's what they said.
She's from the past, basically, where they used to be worshipped.
Oh, okay. So it's similar to Apocalypse, where it's like, oh no, what's happened to the world?
What's happened to this world that used to think of me as special and things like that, yeah. And
so I thought one of the text things, when they were introducing them all, and they had the really quick text that we missed loads, which we'll get into in a bit.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Sort of, I think it mentioned like from another world, but I guess maybe it meant another world in the past rather than another universe, but...
I know she definitely, because she says in the film, doesn't she, when her brother says, "Oh, where are we?" and she says, "Oh, it's the same world, just in the future." So I think they are from Earth.
Yeah.
But it's just they were from a long, long time. Because I think when that text was coming up, I'm pretty sure it said she's 6,000 years old or something like that. So.
But it was like, I wanted a more interesting plot than once again a bad guy wants to just destroy the planet.
Yeah. Which is what it is.
Although I'm quite interested, and maybe I'll write something like this. I'd quite like to just see what happens when the bad guy does destroy the world. Like if Apocalypse, because he wanted to turn everyone into him.
Yeah.
What the hell would he do then? Just sit around talking to himself?
It's not a bad thing.
What's the plan be?
But yeah, no, it's definitely... Her plan was literally, oh look, I'm going to build this machine, I'm going to kill everyone.
This machine, she's magic. What machine could she have?
Exactly. And then the thing is, it wasn't even a machine, it was just a load of floating lights and loads of cars flying around her and things like that.
Just destroying one city. But we need to stop before she gets too powerful. Like, what's her plan? How's this going to get people to worship her?
I don't know. That just is... It was a very, very... She's a weird choice as a villain, and her plan didn't really make a lot of sense. I didn't really know what her end game was. So.
Yeah. Because what I was thinking... Because I was about to ask what you think a sequel for Suicide Squad would be. I don't know if they want to plan one now after such a mixed response. But what I thought was perhaps if they'd instead had her as part of the team, I don't know if she would have been too powerful to be a key member. Maybe they'd do something to limit what she can do. Maybe
they would have done like Diablo and kind of held her back, saying she doesn't want to fight. They could have used the Doctor character.
Maybe like that. Like maybe she's like, like not interested in petty human squabbles or something like that. But I would like to have developed her more as a team and had like a twist betrayal in a future film.
Yeah.
No, maybe not even the sequel. Maybe like the third one or something.
She could then become the bad.
Of having it, we build up, we know her more, and then she's this really damaging threat.
Yeah.
Like it does. I've just suddenly thought of this now. I mean, I've been writing this sci-fi show thing. I mentioned I did it at uni, and one of like the third series twists was this similar sort of demonic character does suddenly become the bad guy, but it's sort of seeded throughout. And I like it need to be seeded quite well. But the idea of this ultimate really powerful thing being on your side.
Yeah.
What happens when it's not?
And they something similar happens in Buffy. I don't know if you've ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I've seen the first 2 series. I still
like-
need to finish it.
Well, Angel gets introduced, and obviously, he's on their team and everything, and then all of a sudden, he loses his soul, and now he's the evil guy, and you've got to go and fight him. And so something like that, I think, would have worked really well, yeah. But as far as possible sequels, there's been a lot of talk that, and obviously, for anyone who hasn't seen it, I mean, we already gave the spoiler alert, but spoilers, there's a mid-credit scene, obviously, where Bruce goes and meets with Amanda, and she gives him files on Barry Allen and Arthur Curry and everything. And a lot of people think his comment of "shut it down" or "my new team will do it for you" is him basically saying if the Suicide Squad keeps going, the Justice League is going to take it down. So there's a theory that they could do a Suicide Squad versus Justice League film, which, don't know about you guys, I don't think that's the best idea.
No.
Not entirely sure how the Suicide Squad, which has now lost all its superpowered people, is going to take on the Justice League, which has Superman, Cyborg, and the Flash in it, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
They might beat Batman.
Yeah, unless they're just going to get suddenly... They're going to make up the numbers, and she's going to suddenly find some more bad guys that were hidden there.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
Maybe they'll resurrect Doomsday.
I don't think it'll work. And I bet it would once again become... We must settle our differences
To fight this even bigger threat that's come along.
It would do that. I bet it would. But yeah,
even though you're all villains and we are the ones who put you away, we trust you now to help us fight this even bigger guy. You're right to trust us because we are not the bad guys, even though we kept saying it before. We're the good guys. I'm not entirely sure about that, but possible Suicide Squad on their own future films. I mean, another mission that they go on, perhaps. I mean,
maybe if because of the success in a way of their first mission, even though it was just cleaning up the mess that they've made. Maybe they're given more free reign. But saying that, how many? No, there's only like 3 of them left now because Harley's escaped now.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Harley's gone. There's only Deadshot, Killer Croc, and who's the other one?
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang. Yeah, they're the only ones left now.
Who also only got one moment to show off his skills, which was, I'll use this to try and get closer to the
Have
storm
a look
thing.
at what they're doing. Yeah.
Oh look, that's what they were doing.
Bye bye Boomerang.
Well, that's me done.
Yeah, I know in the comics a lot of Suicide Squad stories are about the characters trying to work out a way to stop the chip from activating so they can fight back against Amanda Waller, because a big thing in all the Suicide Squad stories is that Amanda Waller's the villain, really. She's the bad guy. They are being forced to do this stuff. She's actually the villain.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are about them trying to work out how they can deactivate it so they can tell the world about Amanda Waller and what she's up to.
Yeah, I think that might be
that
an
might be,
interesting sequel, but
it might be a better way to ground it as well. So it's a bit of a smaller scale story,
Yeah.
rather than world ending again. Let's go and stop it.
it's weird now they've done the world ending, so as long as they don't feel like they have to just keep
Getting it bigger,
because I guess one way, the scale of going really different sidetracked. Breaking Bad, that was big moments and things like that.
Yeah.
And then they did the sequel spin-off prequel. It's a lot low-key
thing,
stuff, and that works well. So maybe people can go from like big catastrophic things to more quieter stories.
And you take like something, for example, like Civil War. That's the sequel, obviously, to Winter Soldier. Well, in Winter Soldier, that's about Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. and suddenly threatening the world with these big helicarriers that they're going to blow up all the people they see as threats. Whereas Civil War is just Tony versus Steve, and their ideologies clashing.
I really like that. Was the really good film. Like, I mean, I hadn't seen all of the films that built up to it, so I guess I probably missed some things. But
a friend said to me, actually, Civil War was Batman v Superman done right. And I think that's a perfect
Similar
way to describe it.
Because it was the whole superheroes are out of control. What side you on argument, whereas Batman to Superman, they just sort of had them. They fight out a bit because of their differences. This one, we actually saw like different views, explored how things work, like with this
They actually
Okay.
showed both sides of the argument as well, rather than force feeding you one side to support.
Yeah, and everything just tied together quite well.
Yeah.
Like with my last episode of the podcast, I mentioned small details and things, or just like scenes that seem like unrelated and just sort of building up. We have like the seemingly unrelated scene just to bring Tony Stark in, where he's showing off his virtual reality.
Yeah.
And that's just to simply, without you realising it, set up so you know who his parents are.
Yeah. And so
His relationship to him, and you get emotionally attached
to
so you,
yeah,
for the
and
twist.
you can see why when the twist happens, why he gets so angry. Yeah, it's all Civil War, brilliant film.
Yeah, haven't got we are going full spoilers, so to say.
Oh yeah, full blown spoilers.
Hey.
Yeah, his mum gets killed basically, and his dad as well.
Yeah.
And it's the Winter
I
Soldier.
remember that moment. I think we were watching it in 4D, weren't we? So
we were like, all over the place as
wiggling around, getting rained on when there was rain for no reason and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I heard that the gasp of when we cut to that street, and it's like, oh, it was them.
It was them. He's going there. I must admit, when just before he started playing that video, I guessed what it was going to be. I was like, hold on. He killed Tony's parents, didn't he? I did guess it just before it come on, but it took me, I didn't guess it until then, so it was a really good reveal.
It's like, was it like, I don't care, he killed my mum.
And all those memes that come with it. Tony, he doesn't know how to play FIFA. I don't care. I want to win. Tony, he hasn't got Pokemon Go. I don't care. There's an Articuno.
Right, I think we've discussed Batman vs Superman and kept running away from it. We've gone to the Suicide Squad, where we got quite into. I don't know if there's anything else you want to sort of complain or compliment about the film.
Compliments. Yeah, Batman's pretty good at it. We get to see the Flash's Speed Force in action. That's pretty cool. That's about it. That's all the other compliments I have.
Oh, isn't there something? Did you find out the answer to? You were confused about like the suit the Flash has.
Yes, the timeline. I must admit I didn't look into it afterwards, but I did say it to a friend who then went and watched it, and they said the same. They were like, "Yeah, that doesn't really make a lot of sense," because we were told that Bruce was going to make the Flash's suit for Justice League, and in the Justice League trailer, the suit he's wearing is then the same one he's wearing in Suicide Squad, which that was a flashback, so that should have happened before Barry met Bruce. Right. And in fact, from the mid-credit scene, we know Barry hasn't met Bruce yet, which means he can't have made the same suit that he's wearing in Justice League. None of you can see what I'm doing with my hands, but it looks very confusing. You can't see the suit that he's supposed to have in Justice League, he has here when they haven't even met yet, which is here. It's very confusing, but I'll look into it.
Unless his flashback running into the past to interrupt someone's dream. Maybe he stuck around.
To go
catch
Captain Boomerang.
Hey, we've got another movie before the one I'm in. I better just capture this guy when he's robbing a bank and give him 10 life sentences, and then I'll go back to normal time.
Although he did kill that guy, so maybe one life sentence is justified.
Yeah. But yeah, that's enough about Suicide Squad. I was going to go briefly talk about another film that was mixed, because it wasn't amazing as people hoped, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it took me the second viewing with you to do it to sort of be be okay with it, which was X-Men Apocalypse.
The trailer was exceptional. The film was
Yeah.
That would be very much the way I'd sum up X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah. He just went in, it was sort of just the main bad guy watching TV. Like, I don't understand how his powers made him allowed to click on the TV screen, and that's how he learns about the world.
Literally, yeah. His powers in the comics, none of his powers have had anything to do with technology, so I'm not entirely sure how he did that.
But then it was just him slowly walking around, collecting people to be on his team. He was sort of like a mini Avengers. I need you,
Dark Avengers.
drunk wingman. Come on here, come on down. I'll fix your wing.
Join my team.
Person with laser whip thing. You can come too.
Yeah, we'll give you this new suit and you can come join me. And weird woman who I literally just met, you can be on my team as well.
But
what
it
can you
was just
do?
sort of-
Oh, I control the weather. Oh yeah, you might be quite useful. Come on.
yeah, but like similar to Enchantress, it was like an ultimate force in a way, just destroying the place.
Yeah.
Like, how can we defeat them? And then, oh wait, yeah, we can. But yeah, it was sort of.
We'll just let this super powerful person go beat him on the astral plane or whatever it was they said.
It just makes me think: can really big godlike creatures be villains in stuff? Like, is it too tough to defeat? It makes them uninteresting because it's not. It's catastrophic. I don't know.
I must admit, these two films, Apocalypse and then Suicide Squad, have made me a little anxious about Infinity War. Because Thanos is another godlike creature. Because another one that I can give an example, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, they have Galactus, the World Eater, and that's an awful film. You know, this big threat of, oh yeah, this guy can literally eat the planet. Yeah. And that's a terrible film. And
it's sort of like, we get attached to characters and sort of like intimate things. So things like Civil War, I was worried of just a big fight, am I going to care? But they made it so personal to two. We focused on two characters, and that's what made it interesting. Yeah. Whereas big catastrophic events is probably why like things like 2012 or things like that, things where just the world's being destroyed. They aren't interesting. You're not invested with people. You just meet someone suddenly. We don't really care about them, and now we're just saying, oh, everyone's getting killed. Yeah. Some reason we can't really, because it's such a big like concept to think of, like the whole world, everyone's going to be dead. You don't in films because it's fiction. You don't care as much. So yeah, that could be a problem with Thanos, because especially since all we really know about him is that he sits on the chair, and stuff like that. He's gonna, unless they bring him in a bit more gradually. But more, we get at least more interesting footage of him. I don't know whether, because he's just at the moment it looks like he's just gonna pop up
every now and then. Maybe
for his film, it will just be he'll suddenly appear and like, this is the guy we mentioned. He's here now.
Films ago, he's here now.
And then it will become like Apocalypse and Suicide Squad, where it's just a big threat and we're not that invested because character stuff often is. Because especially with characters you've sort of watched in different things,
you've watched them,
you've grown to get attached to.
Yeah, that's my fear now with Infinity War is, are they going to be able to get us in as invested in Thanos as they have with all these other characters? You know, that's why I was glad to hear apparently Thanos is going to play quite a big role in Guardians 2.
Oh, is he?
So we might get to see a bit more of him.
That's a film I really want to see, because I've never been too interested in superhero films. I mean, I enjoy some of them, but I guess because I don't read the comics or things like that, I don't know if I've ever been too amazed. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I think because it was sci-fi, and I love sci-fi stuff, and it wasn't necessarily superheroes, and it was a ragtag crew. I loved ragtag crews.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was my favorite. That's my favorite Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was something so different. They literally found lightning in a bottle with that. It was so different, and it's so different to any other superhero film. Like, it's got the obvious story. Oh look, these guys want this thing that's gonna cause loads of trouble. Let's keep it hidden from them. But it had that twist of they were actually going to try and sell it just to make a bit of money. They didn't care that it was going to blow up a planet. They were like, oh yeah, let's make a bit of moolah out of this, you know.
And they worked well. It's like, I know the comparison is Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, because like they're not necessarily good guys, but
they go and do a good thing. Like.
But they worked. It's like sort of Guardians of the Galaxy spent so long just getting them together. Yeah, they spent a lot more time together, whereas Suicide Squad they met
crossed together all of a sudden.
We got time to see them argue, resolve their differences,
and then come together
like them. And they had like good dialogue. So much of Suicide Squad was cheesy, and sometimes misogynist.
Definitely.
Like all the stuff about they kept like belittling women in it. I don't know why, which makes me worried about Wonder Woman actually.
Yeah,
because it's like the same people that are doing this thing where it's like, it's a woman, so we don't have to worry too much about stuff like that, and like, she's pretty tough for a woman, Harley, and stuff like that, and things just unnecessary, just added in and being a bit misogynist.
Yeah,
are these people who are in charge who did this? Are they?
Are they going to be the same ones making the decisions for Wonder Woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think thankfully Wonder Woman's a different director, so it should be a bit better off with that. But I do know what you mean, and yeah, well, Guardians is definitely different to that. They're a team, and they spend time together. You actually get used to the team dynamic rather than just let's throw all these individuals together and hope they make a team.
I think we've just gone through like several different movies, Civil War, Apocalypse,
just comparing all these different Marvel and DC.
There's the things that's you have to like superhero. It's become its own like genre.
Yeah,
I think
definitely. Yeah,
and there's just you can't help but compare them all.
No, it's definitely.
But yeah,
it's what you've got to do now, especially with DC bringing out their big team up next year.
Yeah, so that brings me to sort of like, I guess, kind of the last but big thing I wanted to discuss, which was sort of comparing the DC universe that they're trying to build, like clawing at it, they're desperate to catch up,
throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks,
compared to the Marvel one. Because I think it's the way I see it is Marvel, we've been building each brick so with loads and loads of films, and it might be a bit too much to keep up with. DC have gone for, because they're so far behind, I guess, in a way, they've put us in the middle of an already thriving world, whereas like Marvel, we see each character being introduced. We always
built their world,
all their sort of moments, their introductions we see on screen.
Yeah,
and it was kind of interesting. I quite, in some ways, it was good in Suicide Squad having like, Batman's been around for ages.
Yeah,
Joker and Harley have been running the city. These villains have been villains. We aren't seeing them do their first evil thing.
Yeah.
And things like that, and I quite liked that. Yeah.
But I love the fact, like with Iron Man, like obviously Iron Man's the first one. That's the first thing in any of the Marvel films. And before that came out, we knew Incredible Hulk was also being released, but there was no plans at all for an Avengers film, or at least they hadn't told us about it. And then you get that tease right at the end. You get Tony, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, and you just knew then that was the game changer right there. You were like, wait a minute, there's an Incredible Hulk film coming out in a few weeks. Well, hang on, are they going to be? And then at the end of the Incredible Hulk, Tony shows up and he's like, yeah, I want to talk to you about a team that I'm building. And it's just like, that blew my mind when I watched that. I was like, oh my god, they're doing an Avengers film. And then DC kind of like, they did Man of Steel, and just the same actually with Iron Man. They didn't announce that they were going to do Justice League. There was no plans, as far as I know, to do this team up DC universe. They were just doing a new Man of Steel. They were doing a new Superman series, and all of a sudden, a few weeks later, they get Comic-Con and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you know that Man of Steel sequel we're doing? Yeah, Batman's going to be in that. Oh, okay. So are you building a universe? Yeah, we're building a universe. And so it's like, whereas Marvel sounds like they planned it but didn't tell you about it, and then they built it up. So when it eventually happened, you're like, oh my god, this is mind blowing. DC have just gone, oh yeah, we're going to do it, and we're not going to let you see any of these characters get introduced. We're just going to throw them all together, and hope that something sticks together. Hope this team works.
Yeah. 'Cause I always say that it was quite good that we sort of just jumped in. We did end up having to see every origin still,
exactly.
But just in flashback form. So maybe it wasn't as good as I thought, maybe. But yeah, it's a very different approach, and it's not quite working for
No,
them.
it's not quite sticking yet. I mean, don't be wrong. The fact that they're not copying Marvel, I think that's the right move. You can't just, you're not going to be able to repeat that, because it's kind of a lose-lose situation for them, because if they copy Marvel, everyone's like, well, yeah, the reason it's working is because you're doing what they did and it worked for them, so of course it's going to work for you. Whereas they do it differently and it's kind of not working, they're like, well, why don't you just do it that way?
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to copy them. Well, maybe you should have done, So it's kind of a lose-lose situation, but I am glad they're not copying Marvel, because, it kind of gives them their own identity then. Yeah. However, I do think what they're doing right now isn't quite sticking, and they need to think of they need to do a new tactic.
Yeah. Although one thing that's probably, I think is why annoyed you, I think you said, was how quick we've established, Robin's dead.
Oh yeah. Robin's gone. He's out of there. We can't use a Robin now. Well, we can, obviously there are lots of different Robins, but yeah. That, like, the fact that these characters are in a world where Batman's been he's been and done. Wonder Woman has obviously revealed herself at some point, although she's now in hiding. someone obviously knows about the Flash. You know, a lot of these characters, especially the villains, obviously, because there were so many of them in Suicide Squad. You know, a lot of them have already happened, and we've seen it. It's always like there's a lot of stories that they can tell that they could have told that have already told. Now they can't put on the screen. So like the story where Robin dies in the comics is called Death of the Death in the Family. That's the story where Robin gets killed. They can't do that now because we already know it's happened. I mean, I suppose they could do it and have it as this is set before Man of Steel, but kind of then defeats the purpose then, really, because it's not going to give us anything that we don't already know. You know, so and that annoyed me, and it also annoyed me how they changed Robin's killer, which was revealed in that split second that you could see it in Suicide Squad, where it comes up that Harley Quinn was the person who killed Robin in this universe, and not the Joker like it is in the comic. Yeah, I'm not annoyed that they changed it. That doesn't bother me too much, but I'm annoyed about the fact that unless you had super speed and so you could slow down time to read it, you couldn't actually find it out.
Yeah, because there was so many details. So they just quickly could. I guess because it was so rushed, this film.
Yeah,
they
just had to kind of rush through all these little Easter eggs that you could have actually enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they've still got a lot of films. DC are coming out and Marvel, so it's interesting to see where they go with everything.
It'll be interesting to see how they build up their universe. Although, on the topic of a DC universe, we do already have one established that the big executives at Warner Brothers seem like they want to ignore. We kind of already have a DC universe that has been established, but is being completely ignored by these films. You know, for those of you who know what I'm talking about the TV universe, of course.
There's so many of them. We've got Supergirl, The Flash, Arrow,
Gotham. Quite a part of the same universe, but it's...
And it isn't as much as a success, is it?
Well, the first series wasn't, but the second series has been a lot better, and it's starting to pick up a bit of momentum now. People are starting to look at it and say, actually, that's worth watching now.
But still, Batman's never going to be in it, is it? Because... He's
not.
He's like a child, isn't he? He's like 1 year old or something.
He is, but if the rumours are to be believed, then they are going to actually put Gotham in the same universe, and that's going to be in the past, and in the current shows, Batman is going to be introduced. Apparently, in Arrow, they're going to introduce a Batman, which is going to be quite interesting considering Arrow takes a lot of inspiration from Batman. I mean, Arrow season 1. If you've ever watched Batman Begins and Arrow season 1, they are the same thing. They are exactly the same thing. I'm not even joking. Comes back from a few years away. He's suddenly a fully trained fighting machine, billionaire who goes around taking down all the rich people who are corrupting the city, and then it ends up with him fighting someone who was League of Assassins trained. That is literally season 1 of Arrow and Batman Begins. But anyway, as far as DC's TV universe, it's established. They've got a huge fan base. People love it, and they've got these characters who are now going to be introduced in the film. And I just think that a TV format works so much better for a lot of DC's characters because don't get me wrong, I love Marvel, but I think DC has a richer history of stories that they can go through, and I just think a TV show gives you a lot more chance to go through that. For example, The Flash, they're just about to enter their 3rd season, and they're going to start off the 3rd season with what, for me personally, is the greatest comic book story of all time. They're going to do Flashpoint, which is basically... If you know the Flash's origin, his mum gets killed by his main villain, and that's what inspires him to become the Flash. Well, Flashpoint is when he goes back in time and saves his mum, and so it's a world where his mum actually didn't get killed, and there's loads of different things that happen, and they're about to do that in the TV show, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. Yeah,
that sounds really interesting. So, I've only seen like clips of Flash, and I've never been convinced because it looks really cheesy in a lot of ways. But the time travel stuff and alternate worlds, that's like my thing. But I think I might need to try and struggle through that to enjoy it because that sounds like really interesting storylines.
Don't get me wrong, it's very cheesy, and also the thing. But this is the thing I love about it. I think this is the thing a lot of its fans love about it. The Flash embraces its comic book history. It knows it's a comic book show, and it fully embraces that. Like during season 1. When he comes up against all these metahumans, they give them silly nicknames, which is their names from the comic, obviously. But in the comics, you can give people silly names and get away with it. Whereas in a TV show that's supposed to be set in the real world, you're like, okay, how do you give this person the name Rainbow Raider? And they said that what they do is the two people that he works with, they just come up with silly nicknames to give his villains, and that's how they do it. And I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
They embrace that cheesy side of comic book stories, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to give it a watch at some point. It's on like my really, really, really long to watch list. But yeah, but I think like so those things like haven't really heard too much good things about Arrow, but I know you've said it's pretty good.
It's had its struggles the last couple of years. I think the problem is the Flash has been so good, and Arrow's I would say Arrow has kept the same quality it has been, but because the Flash has been so good, a lot of people have been like, oh, Arrow maybe wasn't as good as we thought it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think Arrow's okay. I still think it's a watchable show, but the Flash is definitely the one. That's its headline right now. That's the crown jewel of DC TV. But this is what I was saying, like, Marvel, they have all these great shows. They have, like, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, they've got Luke Cage coming up. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. even has got a lot better. Agent Carter, I think that's really good. I mean, that's been cancelled, but I think that's really good, Agent Carter.
Is that the one that was set in the past? Or was...
No, that was set in the past, yeah. It was set just after Captain America, the first Avenger. And they've got all these shows, and they're all linked to the films. And it's all part of this larger universe, and you get to see cool little Easter eggs from the films, and lots of things that tie into the films and everything. And then you get to the DC ones, they've kept their TV and their films separate, and it just makes no sense to me. You already have this established universe that people love, and you're not going to introduce it into the same world as it, and it just seems baffling to me why DC would do that. Why Warner Brothers would choose to. And the thing is, the movies now, and this really irritates me, the movies are affecting the TV shows even though they're not linked together. So Warner Brothers wants to do a Suicide Squad movie, Arrow has to kill all its Suicide Squad characters, and that really irritates me because it lessens the quality of their TV shows, which are beloved. And as we've seen, Suicide Squad has not been beloved, so it's not exactly improving the DC cinematic universe. And I just find it back why you would ruin the quality of one, and it's not improving the quality of the other anyway. I find it baffling.
Yeah.
Venting about that right now. Hyperventilating now.
Yeah, but it's all like DC does. Well, I was going to say it does better TV shows in your opinion, but now that Marvel and Jessica Jones, I love that. I mean, I really enjoyed Daredevil, but after Jessica Jones, I still haven't watched the rest of the second series of Daredevil. But I love Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones is brilliant. The Marvel Netflix shows are brilliant, I will admit. I just think the reason I would find the DC shows better is, and this is the only reason. So I know, for example, when I was asked last year, someone said to me, season 1, which was better, Daredevil or The Flash? I gave it to The Flash, and the only reason for that was The Flash sustained it over 23 episodes, whereas obviously Daredevil's only 13, isn't it, I think? That's the only reason I could come up with, but they are both brilliant, so, watch both. Watch it all. No, we're not DC or Marvel here. Everything. Watch everything. Watch all superhero-related media and love it all. But don't watch DC's films, and then maybe they'll put their TV show characters in the films.
Right, I think we've covered pretty much everything we were thinking of discussing about the movies and everything like that. It's been great chatting about it and venting, complaining about everything.
A lot of anger got off my chest right now.
But yeah, I have no idea how long this podcast is going to be. A lot longer than the first two. But yeah, I like discussing stuff with people. I think this works quite well.
Yeah.
So I want to get more people on, perhaps you back for other topics and more when
more
films come out. But yeah.
We can always discuss the terrible thing that will be Justice League next year.
Yeah. Right.
Justice League will be good, guys. Go watch it.
Okay. We're going to end it there. But thank you very much for listening. And see you next time. Bye.
See ya.